Britain doesn't owe a single penny or an apology. We've apologised in 1840. Prince Albert made an abject apology at the time. That's been done and dusted. We've spent a sum equivalent to 2% of our GDP in forcing an end to the slave trade. We spent £20 million, a sum equivalent to £20 billion today, 43% of our entire budget, freeing the slaves in 1833. This is quite simply an avaricious cash grab by the Commonwealth countries, who are largely middle-income countries. Look, it goes without saying, slavery was horrific. The horrors that were endured by the slaves, certainly if they were alive today, they would deserve reparations. And if we had this discussion 200 years ago, I would be in favour of reparations. But the reality is there are no victims of British Empire slavery alive today, and reparations are fundamentally a matter of tort law, that's T-O-R-T law, which is to put the victim back into the position they were in before the harm was caused. And there aren't any. In fact, the descendants of slaves today are far better off and have a far higher quality of life than if their ancestors had never left West Africa. The richest black diaspora in the world are African Americans, then they're followed by black Canadians and black Brits. You know, the Caribbean nations have incomes which are 10 times higher than those in West Africa. Their life expectancy is 10 to 15 years longer. You know, Iman, you're not a victim of slavery. You made actually quite a nice life out of talking about slavery, and you wouldn't be here on national TV discussing this were you not a descendant of a slave. It's time for us to move on from that. This is 6 generations ago. In two generations ago, my family were deported to slave labour camps in Russia, in Siberia and Kazakhstan from Poland. My family were tortured and murdered. My grandfather's brother was murdered in the Katyn massacre by the Russians as well. I don't feel like I'm a victim. I'm not claiming for compensation. That's within my 2 generations, let alone 6 or 7 generations. None of this is about slavery at all. If it was, people like Iman would be campaigning actively against the 10 million slaves living in Africa.
Many people do. No, it's actually 50 million slaves around the world, and we do talk about it. You just don't talk about the slavery
Let me finish now. Let me finish. The International Labour Organization says that 7 in every 1,000 Africans is a slave today.
Slavery was everywhere,
Hundreds of slaves are sold every week in Libya, as CNN has reported. Pakistan is the global centre of slavery around the world. So why are you not protesting outside the embassies of Cameroon and Sudan? There are 800,000 slaves in Cameroon today. The fact that you're more concerned about things that happened 200 years ago, rather than the plight of people today, tells me all that I need to know about the real cause here. This is about undermining Britain and the West, and it's an avaricious cash grab. The fact that you're more concerned about the past than the living horrors of people in Africa says everything.
We're concerned about today. Let me just be clear. Yes, we are. Let's just be clear.
What protests have you done? What protests have you been on?
You've just spoken. I haven't been on a protest in many years because I've been on TV. So let's just make that clear. Hold on a second.
You did BLM protests, but you won't go and protest modern slavery.
Sky News is